So let's take a look at the template we're going to be doing for the next 12 weeks. I hope I can explain this well enough for you to follow along here. I think it'll be kind of clear once I start going through it. But let's just look at the strength for right now. That'll be in columns B and C, and you can look over in column A. That'll be the days that we're doing this. So on Mondays of each week, we're going to alternate back and forth between snatch and cleans. And you'll see that first line where it says 3 sets of 3 at 80%. In week 1, we're going to be doing snatch with that weight. In week 2, we're going to be doing cleans at that weight. And then in week 3 and 4, again, we're going to be doing snatch at 85% for 2 reps, clean at 85% for 2 reps in the 4th week. A good way to train this is to start out lighter with a little bit higher reps. So higher volume, lighter weight, and then like in the Olympic lifting world, when you actually talk to like real Olympic lifters that compete like on a national level, they'll say that they'll call it volume versus intensity. So volume is the actual reps that you're doing. Intensity is how heavy it is. And if I could draw a graph like I really like to do right now, if I could do it right now and you could see it, I really like graphs. You would see that for week 1, the volume is really, really high, and then as the week goes on, that graph goes down at a diagonal, so the volume actually gets lower, our reps get lower. And if you could look on that same graph, the intensity or the weight would start off really low and it would diagonal up, so it would increase up. So as the program goes on, volume and intensity are inversely proportional. So you'll see we go down through 3 reps, 2 reps, and 1 rep. The week 7 is a deload week. I've explained this a few times, but in case you missed it or didn't catch it the first time, a deload week is used to help your body recover. So like on a micro level, day to day, we're breaking down your muscles, and the next day we're resting them and letting them recover. It usually takes like 48 to 72 hours for your muscles to completely recover from a particular movement. So you'll never see us programming squats on back-to-back days. Or we may do it, but it's very, very rare. So we're probably like, what we're doing is breaking down your squatting muscles on one day and give them a few days to recover. So we're not going to do squats again. Now, yeah, you are going to use, we may do running the next day, so that still uses those muscles. It obviously still uses your leg muscles, but it's not a squatting motion, so it's not stressing them as much as a squat would. All right, so that's like on a micro level. On a macro level, like looking at weeks at a time, same thing. Your body needs time to recover from all of this work and actually get stronger. You get stronger whenever you get recovered. So that's why we throw in those deload weeks where we drop the weight, we work more on technique. On the deload weeks, we do 3 sets of 3 position snatch and then 3 position clean. And again, that's helping technique. The weight's lighter, so you can really focus on speed. And it's letting your body recover. I always try to use another word than recover, because a lot of people think, oh, I just need to work harder to get better. And so they don't like the word recovery. So one day I'm going to find a better way to explain that, even though it really is recovery. All right, let's go to, well, let me jump back to Monday. I was going to get into the conditioning part after I go through the strength, but I'll then throw this in. So you don't go 2 weeks before you snatch again. Like, so you'll snatch on week 1, then you're not going to snatch again until week 3. So whatever lift we're doing on that day, we're going to do the opposite lift in the conditioning. Maybe not every week, but a lot of weeks we're going to do that, just so you're still getting that clean motion and not, or the snatch motion, and not having to wait 2 weeks before you do it again. And I really enjoy Olympic lifts and conditioning work. I think it's just a great conditioning tool. And you know, we don't want to go real heavy with the Olympic lifts and the conditioning part because it is really hard to maintain good technique and when you're in the middle of a metcon and the weight's heavy. And you know, we're doing it for conditioning, so we're not trying to go real heavy. So every once in a while we may go a little heavier, but for the most part it's going to be much less than 60% of your 1 rep max when it's in the conditioning. All right, let's look at Tuesday. We're going to be doing back squats and front squats alternating, just like we did on the clean and the snatch. And same thing with the load and the intensity. So I'll give you a second just to kind of look that over. Again, with the conditioning, we want to give so we're doing squats here. Like we don't want to do, well, actually we may do more squats in the conditioning on a Tuesday, more just to like kind of finish you off. But on like the Wednesday and the Thursday, there definitely will not be any squats on those days because, again, we're letting your body recover from what you did on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we're doing deadlifts, and you can see the percentages there. Same thing with volume. We'll actually be going 2 weeks before we switch up the deadlift. So like week 1 and 2 will be sets of 5 at a 75%. Thursday will be skill work. You're going to be getting another video that Troy's going to be doing. This cycle, this 12-week cycle, we're going to have you test your pull-ups or your muscle-ups, and we're going to have you in different levels. And each Thursday, we're going to have different work for whichever level you're at. So it's going to be much more individualized programming on the skill work for Thursdays. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think that will help even more. On Friday, you're gonna be doing push press and split jerk, just alternating again like we did on the other ones. So week 1 you'll do push press, week 2 you'll do split jerk. Same thing with the intensity and volume; they're inversely proportional. So volume's going to start out high and intensity a little lower. On Saturdays we'll be doing power clean and power snatch. And you can see we're only doing that 50%. This should be something just really light, really fast, really powerful. All right, let's go back through and look at the conditioning. So you'll see the conditioning is written out here. It says Monday, 7 to 12 minutes. I'll come back to Tuesday, but like Wednesday, we have partner WOD. You'll see Thursday, 20 to 40 minutes. Friday is the test day. So that seems pretty simple, and it is, but I do want to let you know that there is much more thought that goes on the back end than just like, oh yeah, 7 to 12 minutes, that sounds good on Mondays. So we are looking at energy system training, and so there's 3 different type of energy systems. There's the very, very intense energy system, which is like if you do a workout that lasts like 0 to 1 minutes, it uses that one. And then we go up one to the glycolytic energy system, which is like 7 to 10, maybe even 12 minutes. That's like your typical CrossFit workout that you think of. And it's just a burner. You're just going hard. Like you're probably not stopping because the weight's too heavy. You're probably just stopping because you're out of breath. When it's done, you're just laid out. So that's the kind of work we're going to be doing on Mondays. On Tuesdays, we must have accidentally deleted what we're going to do on Tuesday, so I'm going to have to come back to that one. On Wednesdays, it's a partner workout. And yeah, we do partner workouts because they are a lot of fun. It switches things up. It keeps it motivating and encouraging. But at the end of the day, we really want results. And so yeah, fun and encouraging do get results. But like, what is the actual workout and the functionality of this? So a great way to get conditioned is to do interval work. So you go do 1 minute of work. That's where you're using like the that first energy system I talked about, and you're doing like 1 minute of work and then resting a long time. But that's really boring to do when we just say, all right, um, do 2 rounds of 5 burpee box jumps and 5 thrusters, and then rest 3 minutes. So what we do, we get you to partner up, so it's like a forced rest and a forced interval, but it makes it a lot more fun. So that's the functionality behind a partner workout. On Thursdays is the long oxidative or aerobic workouts. So that's 20 to 40 minutes. Anything above 15 minutes is probably an aerobic workout. That's the third energy system, and it's just something that's long and sustainable. So most of the time at the end of that, unless you do a sprint at the very end, you come in and you're tired, but you're not just laid out like you are on the 7-minute workouts. And this may not always seem like it, but it can be used as recovery. So you just slow down, do long, sustainable. It doesn't tax you as much. And that's kind of why we throw it in on Thursdays. You notice we don't have any weights on Thursdays. The Metcon is not going to have any weights in it. If it does, it's going to be very light. On Fridays is the test day. So again, it's a test day, but most tests, we're testing that second energy system that I talked about that we do on Mondays. So that's what we usually test on Friday. We feel that energy system is like a really good measure of fitness. And I've also said this before in one of the previous screencasts, and it just answers a really good question that one of my friends asked me in the noon class. Is like, why do we test on Friday? It's at the end of the week. You're already beat down. Why would we test on Friday? And it's a very, very good question. And so the ultimate goal is to get fit or more fit, or I don't know really which is the correct terminology you're supposed to use there, or grammar. But so test is not our priority. Like the training is our priority. And so whenever we do testing at the beginning of the week, it really throws the rest of the week off. Like say for example, if we do Fran, which there's thrusters, which is squatting, means that it kind of messes up our squatting program for the rest of the week. Because remember, we want to get like 72 hours of rest. So just little things like that. The testing can really mess up the rest of the training. So we don't want to put a priority on testing. Sometimes we do, but not during our normal cycle. We have like specific test weeks every 3 months where we do put a priority on testing. But for the most part, we want to train, we want to get better. We don't want to put a priority on testing. So I hope I said that in a manner that makes sense. If not, just ask me or send me an email. On Saturday, we do a fun partner workout. Again, we do it fun to keep it encouraging and motivating, but there is functionality behind it. So the Saturday workouts usually train all 3 energy systems. So think about it. A lot of Saturday workouts, there's some heavy weight involved, but the workouts are also a lot longer. So you're coming in, you're doing some heavy work for maybe just 20 seconds. That gets you completely out of breath, and so you have to go run an 800-meter run. So then you're going to more of that aerobic system. So you're going all the way from super intense to really long and sustainable, and you're getting everything in between there. So when we train an energy system, you don't have to just train you're never just training one energy system. In a workout, even though you're doing Fran and it's super intense, it gets a little aerobic there. You got to slow down. You got to catch your breath. It gets super intense when you're doing all those thrusters in a row. But for the most part, it is that glycolytic energy system. So like 80% of it is, or probably 90% of the is glycolytic for Fran. So on Saturday, we want to make it more evened out between all 3 energy systems. So I hope all of that makes sense. I hope I didn't ramble too much. Feel free to ask me any questions.